Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Building Friendships. I am your pretty terrible host, John Sosis, and today's guest, he's in Netflix's Roxanne.
Yes.
Anya Marina, independent woman, the lead, one of the co-lead. He's a stand-up comic, very talented guy.
Thank you.
He does everything.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about that.
Hey.
The one and only Nigel Fullerton. Today we're going to nerd out. We're going to nerd out a little bit. At least to start off, we're going to nerd out. We're both big fans of the MCU.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that whole thing and specifically the sets we're building. We have Spider-Man, Far From Home. I'm going to be doing the Stark and the drone attack jet.
And I'm going to open
Let's
this up
reveal
and
it.
see what I got.
Let's see what you got
All
over
right,
there.
here we go. Ooh, it's Molten Man.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
wow.
other thing. Comes with Night Monkey. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they released a bunch of these sets for the Spider-Man movie in
And
July.
Mysterio.
Yeah, you got that. That's a good set. I built that set's actually pretty fun.
And he's like grabbing a firefighter.
Which is
well, in one of them, yeah.
randomly placed. He's just under there.
Okay.
Trying to put him out. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get started on these today. We will also, just keeping in the theme, be giving away a Spider-Man Far From Home minifigure pack. It comes with very cool stuff.
Nice.
Maria Hill, Ned, and Spider-Man, and it comes with a bunch of their props from the final scene in London. So we'll be giving that away. Just subscribe, comment. Hopefully you're not going to trash us, but we know what we're doing when we do this. And yeah, let's get started.
All right, cool.
Cool. Oh boy. All right.
You got yours on. There we go. Okay. Ooh. I haven't played with Legos in like 20 years,
Really?
maybe
It's-
30.
I mean, it's interesting because I hadn't played in a while either, and then when I was 27, I picked it up again, and I mean, you see my apartment, it's a mess.
Yeah,
It's
they
all
didn't
Lego.
they didn't have this when I was a kid. Like, what's that bucket?
Exactly.
It was a bucket of Legos.
And it was not, it was very generic.
Right.
Firehouse, police station,
Yeah.
hospital. Yeah. So once Lego was on, so I don't know if you've seen the Lego documentary.
The toys one? Toys That Made Us?
No, there's a Lego
Oh.
documentary about the company Lego.
Okay.
And about how they were literally like a month away from bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And what saved them was licensing.
Okay.
So those Lego sets that everybody got bored of, like how many different police stations can you have? They finally started getting licenses for like Disney and
Are they making money now? Is it
oh my God, are they
Okay.
making money? So you saw Spider-Man again last night because they just did
Yes.
the re-release.
Yes.
And you told me that they did not add anything
It was
outside of what people were like.
Everything in the trailer, like everything we missed from the first time that was in the trailer, that's all it was. And it went by really quick.
Well, people already thought this stuff was in the trailer, which is crazy.
Right.
So the fact that they're going to see it again, which to be fair, I was going to see it again regardless.
Right.
I was not really interested in seeing it for the extra stuff. I was going to see it again regardless of what was going on.
Well, this stopped me from watching it again. So I was like, all right, I might as well just go to the movie, get a little extra. And, you know, I still like the movie,
Yeah.
but I've seen it all before. My sister hadn't, so I took my sister to go see it. We went together.
And what'd you think?
I mean, I loved it the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw it 3 times within 7 days because of how much I liked it.
I think the reveal, though, is like one of the biggest like reveals in all like Marvel history. I
In
think
Marvel
so.
history, sure.
Yeah.
But I absolutely knew. I mean, if you know the comic book, you knew it was coming.
No, I'm talking about the end. I'm talking about the end credits. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
the
we're gonna
end
get
credits.
spoilery because I think it's been out long enough. that
It's
we can
been
get
out
spoilery.
long enough, yeah.
Yeah, no. The end credits. So in the end of at the end of the movie, the end credits, they bring back what's his name?
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson. But they
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. They brought him back as J. Jonah Jameson.
Yep.
But they obviously made it MCU-ish. He's not a newspaper reporter. He's like a Alex Jones type.
Yeah.
And he's like a conspiracy
Which is
theorist.
cool.
I thought it was a genius move. Conspiracy theorist, and he basically shows video of Mysterio outing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
which is crazy because that's the same thing that happens in the Spider-Man video game.
Yeah.
So I was all excited. I was on board for that.
So that was cool. Then there's a second end credit scene, and that's where I was like, okay, here's where they're gonna undo everything.
Yeah.
And it actually, did you, what do you think's gonna happen now with the reveal? Do you think they're gonna play it out as everybody knows now, or do you think they're gonna undo it?
You're talking about with
That he's Peter Parker.
Yeah. Well, I think that I don't know what they're going to do now because of the whole Sony Disney thing.
Yeah.
So what I thought before was basically that they're going to bring in another superhero as his lawyer, whether it be Daredevil, whether it be She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I was hoping that maybe that would happen. You know what I mean? So I don't know what's going to happen now. I think they're just going to think it's a hoax, maybe.
See, so what I thought the second reveal was, which was basically that Maria Hill and
It's okay.
we'll pick it up when we cut in a few minutes. That Maria Hill and Nick Fury were Skrulls. I thought they were going to use that to redo it. So Peter Parker was going to be standing there, and a Skrull was going to show up as Spider-Man and basically undo it. And that the reason they put that as the second thing was to sort of give people a hint, like, yeah, we'll be okay. We're not really revealing Spider-Man.
Right.
So that's what I thought was going to happen, and then this whole Sony thing happened.
Yeah, that's the one thing that like puts a damper on everything.
Yeah.
You know? I'm just like, ugh. I don't know what's going on here.
We're already starting?
I'm just gonna. Oh, there's a book.
Probably take the instructions.
Oh,
yeah.
there's instructions now.
Yeah. Why, did you not have instructions as a kid?
No, I just put the stuff
Okay, then
together.
you didn't have Lego sets.
Yo, I told you I had a bucket of Legos.
Oh, okay.
And
You had the bucket of Lego. They eventually had. They came with instructions at the time.
Did they?
I have to.
I
assume
don't
they
think
did.
so. The last time I played, nah.
I refuse to believe Lego just gave you bricks with no
They
instructions.
gave me bricks with no
and said,
instructions.
Go for
I
it.
had a big green Lego thing that was supposed to be lawn.
No. Okay.
And you had to make a Lego house. You make a little Lego house out of
Okay,
bricks.
fine.
and
I'll
that's
give you
it.
that. I'll give you that because I remember that.
Hey.
That was bad.
As a kid, I used to watch Disney Afternoon.
Yeah, we all did.
And there was a
That was like with Tailspin and stuff.
right.
And
There was
DuckTales.
there was a contest. There was a contest because Gargoyles was coming out, and there was a contest. And if you wrote to them all the Gargoyle names, you would win Nerf toys.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Wait, was it that you had to all their names, or every episode they gave you the Gargoyle of the day, and you had to submit
It might have been one of them.
Can we talk about that? Every contest was send in a postcard.
Yes.
I didn't know where the fuck to get a postcard.
I sent one in.
I never knew how to get a postcard.
I sent a
Maybe
letter. I didn't
That's
send a
what I did.
postcard,
I would
yeah.
send letters with index cards. I was like, "What's a post?" I never traveled.
So
it's like, "What's a
sent it.
postcard?"
I sent it, and like a year later, I get all these Nerf toys. And I'm like, yo, what is this? And it went to my grandmother's house. And at the time, I was living at my grandmother's house, and I had moved. And I was like, what is all this? And I had the bow and arrow Nerf gun. I had the slingshot with the ball. I had
That's
like
amazing.
a Rambo style dart gun.
That's like
where,
a kid's dream.
It was crazy, but the problem was I was in 6th grade at the time, and I was like, some of these are a little juvenile for me. But I had all the footballs with like the whistles on them.
That
and
was
like,
cool.
Oh my god!
The one with the long tail attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that you couldn't really play football with because if someone tried to catch it, it would break.
Yeah, but I totally blocked all of this out of my mind. And a couple years ago, I ran into this kid that I hadn't seen in years, and he was like, yo, you were the kid with all the Nerf toys. And I was like, oh shit, I was the kid with the Nerf toys, you're right. Every day I went to school.
I wish that was my
different Nerf toy.
reputation.
Different Nerf toy. I was like, I'm stunting on you kids today. Check out this new football. Oh, you stole that? Don't worry about it. I have millions. I have millions.
You can't do that shit today. You bring any
can't.
kind of gun to school, you're done.
Yeah, I could bring
Those
guns.
days are over.
This is the days when I could bring guns to school.
Yeah, and everybody just be like, okay, that's clearly a toy.
Ironically, I went, like, at the time, I was going to the same school that looked like it was on Lean On Me.
Oh, shit.
Like, it was a really bad school. And then I ended up going to a really good school right afterwards.
Yeah, that's they really knew how to sucker us in with toys now. Everything now, like, everybody's so attached to the phones, and you can't enjoy toys the way you used to. Like, do you remember? Maybe because I don't watch children's shows, but do you remember like you would see the action figures you wanted, and they would have a whole play set, and they would be like, you'd be like, where'd they get those tubs from, and all this other stuff. I have not seen a commercial like that in years.
Well, you know
Everything is
why?
basically like control it with your phone.
Well, you know why? Number one, kids don't play with toys anymore.
Well, exactly. That's
Number
where it's
two-
kind of sad.
Number two, most of our cartoons and stuff were made and designed as long commercials.
Yeah.
You know that? So like all the like especially 80s and 90s cartoons, like they all like Ninja Turtles was made to sell toys.
Yeah, that's
G.I.
true.
Joe was made, He-Man definitely was made to sell toys.
Yeah, I mean that's 100% true. I just think it's weird that like they can so easily just stop with the toys that not the toys that we grew up with, but everything is so phone based that it's like you can't really enjoy what you're playing with because you're too focused on how do I make it work.
Yeah.
Are you a comic turned actor or actor turned comic? What was your goal? And what?
Comic turned actor.
Okay.
My goal was to be on television. Like I used to watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to be Kenan Thompson.
Did you?
Yeah, I really like after
right.
Mighty Ducks 2.
Fair enough.
And Heavyweights? Are you kidding me? I wanted to be
Heavyweights was some good shit.
Heavyweights.
That was something where I remember watching that, and I never wanted to be an actor at all. It didn't matter what I saw on TV. Like those kids were about my size at the time.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. I never thought I was a TV person. I never had a face for TV. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like this, I'm terrified to put this out because
Same here.
I just don't look like I should, like people should have to look at me. I think I could I think I could hold up a conversation pretty well. Podcasts, I'm fine. I'm very like open. I can come up with a conversation there. I feel bad saying the only way to get my content is to stare at this. And it's weird because I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I'm like a 5 and I've seen 2s on Instagram, on YouTube and doing all this stuff.
There's a lot of twos in the world.
Yeah, I mean in LA I'm a 1.5.
Hey, listen.
I went to LA.
In LA, everyone's a 1.5.
I went to LA and I was like, this is disgusting. Like if I think I'm a 5 in New York, get the fuck out of here. Everyone's in shape there. Have you spent time in LA?
I have. I don't particularly care for LA because I feel like
I'm the same way.
Everybody's weird.
It's weird. I have like I like my friends there. Mm-hmm. I like being there for a week. By day 8, I am checking out. I am done.
Yeah.
The people there move too slow.
They're weird.
They're very
man.
phony. It's
That's what I get, phony and fakeness from.
In New York, when someone's nice to you, I appreciate it because I'm like, this is a nice person. In LA, I guess they're.
What can you do for me?
In a way, but less subtle than that. What can you do for me? It's less like, how do I not make you mad? Like, you don't know who you're talking to.
Right.
So you're just nice to everyone. And even, it doesn't matter how miserable your day is, you're nice to everyone for the sake of not being a dick to like a producer or a writer or someone at a label. So there's an aspect of like, I just need to be nice to everybody for the sake of not ruining my career by being a dick, which should be the general rule. Like, just don't be a dick ever.
Don't be a dick.
If you're not a dick ever, it's not a concern of yours. But I do get the very fake vibe there. They all baby talk you, like when you go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then there's also, they move slow. They move fucking slow. So like, I don't even know where to start on the slowness. So the first night there, like whenever I get to LA, I go to the store and I stock up my hotel with food and stuff.
Right.
And the woman there was like, oh, you're here on a trip, you're here for business or pleasure. Yeah, well, she was asking me so many questions. What are you going to do when you're here? And I just wanted to be like, first thing I'm going to do is eat these chips, but you got to ring them up. Stop talking to me.
Well, that's because we're so used to the fast pace of life that it's weird.
They move like there's like I have to be here for an 8-hour shift. You're going to be here with me. Are you from Long Island?
Yeah, I'm from Long Island. I'm actually originally from Amityville.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, horror house. Yep.
Yeah. So you started acting first?
No, I started comedy first. Actually, I was trying to. It's a long story, but I'll make it short. I was trying to get into comedy, but I was too nervous. My friend really wanted to be a stand-up comedian, so I pretended to be his agent.
Oh God.
And I I went to New York castings, and I found out that there was a show at Caroline's, which I had heard about only on TV and on the radio, and there was a competition called the Insult Olympics, and I was like, okay, he'd be great for it.
Insult Olympics.
It's called the Insult Olympics. It was hosted by a little-known comedian named Lisa Lampanelli. What ended up happening was my friend had to bring 15 people to a Lisa Lampanelli show. He's a pastor's son.
Oh Jesus!
And he brought his whole church
What?
to a Lisa Lampanelli show. All black people. To a Lisa Lampanelli
That's
show.
what we call a gift from God.
Oh my God!
Like when you're Lisa Lampanelli and that shows up,
Yeah.
like a whole church group.
Yeah. It was bad.
That is
man.
a gift for you.
It was bad, man. It was bad. But he won.
At least he has that.
He won, and we started hanging out with Lisa for a while.
She's great. I love her.
Yeah.
I'm like upset that she's not doing stand up anymore, but I get it. Like I think she was going to be one of those people that lost everything due to a joke.
Yeah.
She was going to get a joke. It doesn't.
Especially in this climate.
Yeah, you can't even say anymore. Like after her show, she does the whole "I love you" thing, and like I love everyone. Blah, blah,
I love
blah.
my blacks.
Yeah, I love my blacks. But yeah, you can't do that anymore. That doesn't save you anymore. So I think she knew what was coming, and she's like, "Listen, I need to prepare for this shit."
Yeah, the climate of. Have you seen the new Chappelle?
I love it. I'm 3/4 of the way through. I'm watching it at the gym. That's how I go to the gym. I watch stuff now.
You watch it?
This
Okay.
Netflix thing changed my life. Like
Okay.
now I watch stuff at
You should have got on it sooner.
I pay $100, $200 for
Why?
Fios because I'm an idiot. What do you think of the special? I thought it was amazing. And I didn't like his last one on Netflix.
So here's the thing. I did like which one are you talking about? Because
The second one he put out.
Because he had but he puts two of them like at a time.
I only saw one. He only released
this one is just one.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, there's a bonus clip also at the end.
No, I only saw the second one.
So basically, the past couple of years, he's put out every time he's put out like 4 comedy specials, right?
Yeah.
And they're like 2 at a time. So there's like I always like the first one, and I don't particularly care for the second one. So what I feel about this one is that I think it's solid, but I can see why people are mad. I can see why people are mad.
I think if you want to talk about his stance on it and the way he approaches the subjects, I can understand people say. First of all, I don't think anybody's mad. I think some hipster bloggers are mad. I don't think anyone. In comedy
I've seen people be like upset about like certain things that he's done.
In that special.
In that special.
Listen, he defended Michael Jackson, which I think there's a big group of people that do that.
But
and
he
I think
also
it's
said he's a
unpopular.
victim blamer. And that made you cringe a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't. No. But I don't think he was serious. He was joking.
I know he was joking.
He was
Listen,
joking that
you and I know that he's joking.
But that's the point. That's what matters. The people that know he's joking get it.
Yeah, but we're not the
Everyone
target
else
audience
is the
for
outsider.
them. We're not the target audience for that. You know
Of
what I mean?
course we
Like,
are.
no, I'm saying
People who
I'm
understand
talking
the
about
joke.
like the people that he's making fun of.
Oh.
We're not in
Well,
that
okay.
place.
Here's what I say. Out of all people, if you know it's a Dave Chappelle show.
He's like, you clicked on my face.
Yeah, exactly. When he said that, it like all clicked for me. Like, yeah, he's right. You did.
Yeah.
We've gotten into a place of like, if you're not this, you can't talk about this. It's taking the you can't say the N-word because you're white and spreading it everywhere. Like, there's a reason you can't say the N-word if you're a white person. There's not a reason you can't have a viewpoint on the gay and lesbian community if you're not gay or lesbian. It's like saying you can't commentate on football if you're not an athlete.
But you know what's funny? It's mostly people that aren't part of that community that get upset.
Yes.
They're the people that get more
They're the
upset.
bloggers.
Yeah.
They are the bloggers.
They get more, not even the bloggers. They're just people that just get super upset when you say
anything. It's called virtue signaling. So virtue signaling is basically when you say something for the sake of getting praise. Like, you'll post something or say something because you want people to be like, oh, this person's so woke. Look at them fighting for the rights of this community. And then the other person's like, no, we have no problem.
So the reason why there's a black Twitter is that basically culturally there's there's a thing that only black people get
Okay.
for the most part. So that's why they call it Black Twitter, because it's stuff like, say for instance, I know what's going on with Bobby Brown right now.
Yeah.
Do you?
No.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
That's something that would be talked about on Black Twitter.
It's amazing how quickly you called out one thing and I didn't.
Yeah. For instance, I've never seen the Barbra Streisand movie.
Oh, me neither, and I'm a white Jew.
Besides the guilt trip.
I've fallen. Oh yeah, that's true. Oh no, I saw Meet the Fockers.
Meet the Fockers, I did see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that was meant to be funny.
Well, culturally, there's certain things like I've never seen an
That's
episode of
interesting.
Friends.
Get the fuck out of
I've
here.
never seen Friends.
But when you say that, it makes sense to me.
Right.
Because there's not a single person of color of any color on that show.
No, there's not.
No.
Except for toward the end when Aisha Tyler was on.
But what's interesting to me, and this would probably spark controversy if it was more of a public setting, Friends is a white people show.
Yeah.
You're I've never seen Friends.
Never seen it.
I don't have a show that I can say. I guess there's one show I can say that I've never seen.
What?
That was a predominantly black cast, Martin.
See?
But I love Fresh Prince. I love the Jamie Foxx show. I love the Wayans brothers.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
What I heard recently, I heard that, you ever heard of a show called Living Single?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Wasn't that with Queen Latifah?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard that Living Single came out before Friends. And Living Single was
Friends.
Yeah. And another thing on Black Twitter, this whole thing with Paul Mooney. Have you heard about that?
The Paul Mooney thing I have heard about. That's such a weird lie to make up that I have to believe it's true.
Yes and no. See,
allegedly.
So here's the thing that I found out. So I don't know if you watched the whole interview of him talking about.
I didn't see the interview at all. I've just been reading what the story is and what the comments have been.
So this is another thing that's on Black Twitter. There's this site called Comedy Hype.
Okay.
And they usually talk about black comics and stuff like that. So anyway, it's a blog, and they're on Twitter and Instagram. Anyway, they had an interview with, I think it was Richard Pryor's bodyguard.
Okay.
So he was asking him questions and stuff like that, and he said that Paul Mooney molested Richard Pryor's son, but the timing of it was off. So he said Paul Mooney molested him around the time JoJo Dancer came out, right? And the only reason why Paul Mooney was about to put a hit out, not Paul Mooney, Richard Pryor was about to put a hit out on Paul Mooney, and he didn't because he caught on fire.
Uh-oh. So is there a conspiracy theorist
So here's
about
the thing.
it?
No, it's not a conspiracy theorist. Here's the thing. He said he stopped it because he was in the hospital and he was on fire and stuff like that. You remember when he lit himself on fire, right? So the timing doesn't make sense because after he lit himself on fire, he did Live on Sunset Strip, which Paul Mooney is in.
Okay.
Paul Mooney is also in JoJo Dancer. So how does this man that you know that molested your son is in projects that you've done? Not only that, Paul Mooney's son says he was a teenager, right? He was a teenager. They said that he was a teenager when it happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he's a teenager in the 70s.
Yeah.
He's not a teenager in the 80s.
Does that not make sense either?
It does not make sense. That's why. I'm like, yo, this doesn't make sense.
So are you thinking that they were in a relationship? Or what is the theory on this? Because it sounds like they were in a relationship. Richard Pryor was going to have Mooney killed, and then Richard Pryor's son stopped it because he didn't want anyone to die because he was caught in a lie.
So I believe Richard Pryor Jr.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor Jr. came out the closet. He's gay.
Okay.
Right. He came out as gay. I believe that Paul Mooney is also gay, but he won't come out the closet about it.
Okay.
I believe that he is.
Do you think it's because he just doesn't want to come out?
I think he comes from a certain era and time where you could not. So that's why.
Or do you think it's because he doesn't want the rumors to sort of be confirmed? Like if
he's already canceling his shows.
But he's canceling for probably to let it die down. But do you think that he's not going to come out for the sake of not people thinking that he's that everything that's been said is true?
I mean, the man's in his 80s, so whether he comes out or not, it doesn't really make.
And It just
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't see. It sounds like Black Twitter is like a lot of detective work.
It's a lot of
Like
detective
you're putting
work.
pieces together. I don't use Twitter for that. I use Twitter for like, I go into the news section. I want to read the stories that are already constructed.
Yeah.
I don't want to construct them with the other people on
No,
Twitter.
it's a lot of gossip and talking about stuff like, you know.
People on Twitter are garbage.
This is true.
Does the Black Twitter community also use Reddit, or is that a white people thing?
That's totally white people.
Okay, so the thing with the with the Reddit, that's where I got. So I used to intern for Opie and Anthony, and I was writing there for a little bit as an intern. And if you show up in the background, that's what people focused on. So like one day, first of all, I had to leave my house at 1 a.m. to get there for like 4 a.m. because I'm in Mill Basin. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I had to get into Midtown. And I made the stupid mistake of wearing a Batman shirt. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're going to make fun of someone for being fat, the first person who calls him Fat Man wins. Repeating it 10 to 15 other times.
Oh my God.
It was different people making the same joke. And
that's bad.
The first time I read it, I was like, I deserve this because, to be fair, I should not have worn a Batman shirt.
Right.
But after they were repeating, I stopped feeling bad about it. I'm like, okay, now they're just embarrassing themselves. Even though there was a rule, there's a rule for there, and like the Stern Show where you're not allowed to go on Reddit because that's basically just asking for a beating.
Yeah.
We used to go anyway, and I think if you go to actually, even the YouTube videos, that's when video was first, like video and radio was first taken off. Opie did a video, and I was in the background of that, and that's where I got called out also on YouTube. So there's a comment calling me Fat Man, and I was like, you know what? I deserve it. But for the 10 of you after him that used the same joke, you should be ashamed.
You guys are hacks.
You should be ashamed.
No, I went on Reddit once and I spelled something wrong.
Oh,
and
boy.
Everybody went after me, and I never went on Reddit again. I'm not. I'm like, listen, this is not school.
But that's kind of amazing because it's like they're not the brightest stars in the sky on Reddit.
They're not, but I remember Steve Hofstetter told me to go on Reddit, and like, you know, this is when Reddit was new.
Yeah.
And like post your jokes on Reddit and see what happens. And
I'll tell you what happens. They get stolen. That's what fucking happens. Yeah, post your jokes on Reddit. No problem.
Yeah.
Just post your jokes. Don't associate your name or anything. Just post your jokes.
Just post
see what
your
happens.
jokes and see what happens. It's the new thing.
My new favorite thing is a Twitter thing. It's replying to O.J. Simpson tweets. So have you read any of those?
No, I haven't.
Oh, they are some of the best things in the world.
He's not on Black Twitter.
He's on white Twitter.
Yeah.
And what
because you guys are looking for him to make sure he's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, because he kills white people. So what he essentially does is he posts a joke. It could be about not a joke. He posts a video. He doesn't even tweet. He posts videos. They all start off with "Hello, Twitter world. It's yours truly," and then he'll get replies.
Is this the rebrand of OJ?
He's trying. He's trying really hard. He talks really he gives advice about politics. He's like, hey, after you watch the debate, don't listen to the pundits. Turn off your TV, make your own decision. I'm like, you know what, OJ, you're right, but you killed 2 people, so we're not going to really take advice.
But I feel like he voted for Trump if he could vote.
Oh, probably.
If he could vote, because he's a felon.
So he does a lot of fantasy football recaps.
Okay.
So then people just comment with anything. Doesn't have to do with fantasy football. First comment, hey OJ, my girlfriend and I have been having some recent relationship problems. Any thoughts on what I should do? They just won't let up.
So again, going back to your fat man comment, don't you think that he feels the same way?
Yes. Well, okay, here's the thing. I don't think he reads them, and if I'm going to post a joke towards him, which I'm not going to lie, I definitely do.
I think if he read them, he'd probably go kill someone.
Probably, yeah. There was a lot of times he's doing it from the golf course and he rolls off with a golf cart, and then people just post pictures of the Bronco being chased. But yeah, no, he definitely would feel that way. But there is a but. I think there's a level of it. I feel weird about this because in my opinion, he's very, very guilty, but we can't be comics who say let the courts handle everything, like from sex allegations, from anything that goes on in the world, we're the first ones to say court of public opinion shouldn't matter. It
Right.
needs to be done legally or it needs to be dropped. And then everybody still goes around yelling at him as a murderer. So I feel weird, and I understand why people defend him in that way. At the same time, I think it's hilarious. I think it is just the funniest thing.
I mean, court of public opinion, you always lose. Like, and that's kind of what I was getting at when I was talking about the whole Roxanne thing, is because you can't win. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, the internet will come after you and like, all right, I'm just gonna have to wait till this dies down, till it's over. And a lot of times it doesn't. It's never over.
Well, to be fair, I mean, you can't win, but in my case, yeah, I was a fat kid wearing a Batman shirt. I shouldn't win. Like, we also have to be realistic about that. Like,
True.
First of all, Biz Markie, as far as I know, wasn't this skinny guy.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like, in your situation, I think it's stupid on their part.
I know, but there's footage of him from back then, and he was super skinny.
Got it. Okay.
That's what happened. People
Got
were
it.
looking at the footage. They were like, "Wait, they made him fat up
Yeah,
top."
no,
I was listening to a podcast, right? A very, very reputable podcast, and they were dissing me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
They were just saying, "Yo, Bismarck was too
Reputable
fat."
in the white community, black community,
black
or both?
community.
Okay.
Black community.
Because I don't know any. Here's the thing: though, every white person podcast is a murder podcast, which
He's
makes
right.
sense.
Or it's NPR.
Oh my god! So I have two of the girls on my team.
Yeah.
They're like 23, 24. All they do is listen to murder podcasts and watch murder shows. And
Because you know
it's
why?
Red flag. It's a red flag.
But you know why?
Because they're
I think-
murderers.
No, I think that people like to be entertained by like stuff that they will never do or never happen to them. I think so. Think about all the reality
shows. You can't think you're never going to be murdered and then walk around with pepper spray.
People like train wrecks. People like
Okay.
train wrecks. My new favorite thing now, and I'm ashamed to say this, I watch 90 Day Fiancé.
Okay, I know a lot of people that do, and you should be ashamed.
I am ashamed, but I like watching the train wreck. Like, there's a guy on there that says he has a girlfriend he's been dating for 5 years in Russia. He sends her $800 to $900 a month.
What a sucker.
A month.
You know how many Lego sets you can get with that?
He sent her, in the past 5 years, he sent her over $40,000. And he wants to meet her, and he asks to meet her in Russia or the Ukraine, wherever she's from. And she says, no, why don't we meet in Mexico?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Instead. So he buys a ticket, gives her $2,000 for her ticket. She says she can't go. Doesn't give the money back. He keeps asking, when are you going to buy a ticket? When are you going to buy a ticket? She's like, haven't you seen the news?
But you know what? I don't feel bad for him. That's a stupid ass move. Like, I do not feel bad. You need to have common sense when you're dealing with other people. And if something if something feels too good to be true, it's too good to be true. I've learned to accept that, and I just think that some people need to learn the hard way, and that is how you learn the hard way.
Yeah, but I think if common sense was common, everyone would have it.
I think it's common enough that a majority of people have it. I just don't think it's common enough that... I think you're always going to have those people, common or not common, that need to learn from their mistakes.
Right.
I think even if there's common sense in one aspect of their life, there is a need to learn from your mistakes. And I know a lot of people like that where I feel I want to be able to give them advice and just say, hey, this is the best thing for you, blah, blah, blah. But I genuinely think that that people need, there are certain people that when you do that, you have to learn that they want to learn from their mistakes. So for example, if like a girl's dating a guy that you know has so many red flags that you just don't like because of how obvious it is, there's a good chance that if you bring that up to him or her, they're going to take that person's side and shun you. What has been your worst experience in entertainment so far? Like comedy, acting, like have you had a really bad experience that should have driven you out of the industry?
Oh, yeah. I bombed on TV. Yeah, I was like 6 months into comedy,
And you were already on TV. That's impressive.
Yeah, I thought it was impressive.
That's impressive to bomb 6. You're only in comedy for 6. It takes a while for
Dude,
people to bomb on TV.
my first time on stage was March 2003. This was in October of like 2003, and I'm on a TV show.
Wow. I mean that's crazy. So,
yeah.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 19. I was 19 years old. I was I'm in LA, and I'm old enough to get into certain places, but I'm not old enough to get into everything. So I couldn't hang out. Like, my friends were mad at me because they were bringing me places I couldn't go in.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So the only place I could go was the comedy club, and so I got on this show. It was called Coming to the Stage. It was kind of like the black version of Last Comic Standing.
Okay.
So I got on there with a group. I had a group of my friends that we used to do these things for churches, and they called us to come on the show, and it actually worked. And the problem was, we were told that we could do music at first, and then when we got on TV, we were told that we couldn't do the music. Like, they said, copyrights, we can't do this, we can't do that.
That's a little bit suspect.
Yeah, so like they told us right before we got on, like we were doing like our upfronts, like we were doing, and we had been on stage for like the whole week. The whole week. They put us on last. They put us on the last show of Yeah, they put us on it was the last show of like the semifinals, I guess, and they put us up. And yeah, we bombed. We had the worst judges too. Like, we had the judge from divorce court, and we had Judge Joe Brown.
Was it an entertainment show or a comedy show?
It was a comedy show, and Kim Coles was the host. Mark Curry, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, was the host.
Okay,
Mark Curry was the host.
He has some credit.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the whole time we were there, like, everybody else that was on the show, like Marlon Wayans was a guest.
Okay.
Anthony Anderson was a guest. Tracy Ellis Ross was a guest judge. Like, all these people were guest judges. We got Judge Joe Brown and Judge Maybelline.
Well, that was the.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I can't even justify it. That's pretty terrible.
It is terrible.
You're just some kids that trying to do something for
This
yourself.
is our first time on television.
That's embarrassing.
Like, our first time on television.
Okay, so what happened?
So we couldn't use music, so we came off a little flat. And we got a couple laughs, but you know how TV is. They edited those laughs out with crickets and stares, and all you see is Judge Joe Brown going in the back of his chair like this and just crossing his like he's about to deliver like a sentence.
Meanwhile, he had no business being there to begin with.
He had no. I think he was asleep the whole time. He was critiquing us, but he was talking about another comedian. Like, you gotta be more like JJ, because JJ, he did a joke where.
Oh my God! And like, somehow that didn't scare you out of the industry.
Oh no, I quit. I had quit after that. Yeah.
Oh.
I quit. I came back.
That's terrible.
I quit and came back so many different times.
I mean, I feel like that's good. Like, I hate referring to Gary Goldman's his advice, but he posted something like, sometimes you just need to step away for your own sanity. And I'm like, yeah, you do.
You do.
So wait, now in hindsight, knowing, first of all, I think it's great that you sort of learn a lesson that way. Like, you learn about the industry by getting fucked in the industry.
In the first time, though.
Yeah, well, that's the best way to learn it. You don't want to be fucked when you've had years in because you feel worse about it. Like, you could at least go home and be like, listen, this was my first experience. I should have known better, but I didn't because it's my first experience.
Right.
Where now you're just sort of like, okay, that was a terrible experience. I've learned from it, and you have to not fall for that kind of shit again. But I guess my question is, did you so you get fucked, and did you, like, looking back now, do you think that they planned that? Do you think, like, you were the William Hung of that period?
How the William Hung.
Yeah, they could have easily said, no, we're not passing you, but they were like, no, we're going to put you on and humiliate the shit out of you because we know people will laugh at your misery.
I think that a little bit of both, because I don't know if you remember in that time that's what they were doing. So like
Yeah.
Last Comic Standing did that also. Do you remember?
Oh
that?
yeah, they let terrible people, like real comics were sitting outside waiting to audition,
Dude.
but they would put on the intentionally bad ones.
I
like,
was so mad about that.
yeah,
Like I stood outside all day,
Gotham.
all night, outside of Gotham.
I've been there.
I was making people laugh. I was like, doing what I had to do. I got downstairs to the audition, and I was killing my audition. Like I was murdering them, and they didn't pick me. My friend got on because he beatboxes in his comedy, and they were just looking for weird and different
which is
people.
not comedy.
Right. So Angry Bob got on that season.
There was another guy who got on who was just a creep.
I forgot who.
He was just a weird guy who just didn't do anything. He didn't have jokes or anything, and
Oh my
he
God.
got on. Yeah, no, that Last Comic Standing, I get why they were doing it too, but it's like, come on, these people are just trying to do something with themselves.
Yeah.
Cut them some slack. Give them a fucking break.
Nah, Angry Bob was on that season. It was bad, man. It was really bad. Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on cancel culture?
Cancel culture, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a good female friend that I constantly argue with over the Louis C.K. thing. Like, we're in agreement that he's a creepo.
Mm-hmm.
We're in agreement that what he was doing was disgusting,
Right.
and that it was an inappropriate use of his power. We do not agree that his entire career for the rest of his life should be canceled. She thinks it should. I think it shouldn't. I think the ability to cancel someone is a very egotistical sort of thing to be able to say, I don't like what you said. I don't like what you did. You didn't break any laws.
Right.
You did nothing illegal. You just hurt my feelings. And because of that, you should not have a career anymore.
Yeah, I feel a certain way about the whole cancel thing because, for instance, I won't go for Louis C.K., but somebody like Cosby, right?
Okay.
Who's in jail,
Yeah.
who's doing time.
Yeah.
Are we not allowed to watch the Cosby Show anymore?
Well, that's the other thing with cancel culture. I think there's a difference between cancel culture and canceling culture, where it's like Cosby Show is, yeah, you don't want to have to think about the things associated with behind the scenes, but you have to also separate the artist from the art.
Right.
I think Cosby as a person is garbage, but if something's funny, something's funny.
Something's funny, yeah.
That's the whole point with Chappelle. You can say you didn't agree with anything he said in that special. That crowd was going nuts. Like,
Yeah.
I heard someone laughing to the point where I didn't think they were going to catch their breath. I thought they were going to die. I forgot which bit it was, but it was the Jussie Smollett thing.
Yeah.
The Jussie Smollett.
Juicy
I mean, there was
Smollett.
someone laughing so hard during that bit. I genuinely thought that they were going to be done.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like comedy is subjective. You can't tell me what's funny. If I'm laughing, I think it's funny. End of story.
Right.
So with the whole cancel culture thing, for me, it's very much like this is a very egotistical approach to changing a channel or not watching someone or not supporting someone. And trust me, I'm the first one to say I will not go see a Louis C.K. show. I will not buy a ticket to his show. If somebody gave me money to go see, gave me a free ticket, I'd probably consider it, but I will not financially be supporting him.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he should not be able to get money where he can.
Right.
If other people want to support him, and again, to say that being said, I do think there's a little responsibility on the comedy club side where they need to give people a heads up, and especially like the least he can do, knowing the situation, is telling a club when he's going to drop in with enough time that they can tell people.
So
Because
like,
I can
hey,
understand if I'm not looking to support him and I don't want to see him and I want to go see a show and then he shows up there, I'm not going to be happy.
I feel like we pick and choose who we want to.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, who we want to go after. Like I have long hated R. Kelly. I have not been a fan of R. Kelly for years. and it's mostly because I believed he did it, and I thought he was a creepy guy.
Yeah.
He sings nothing about, like, there's a difference between him and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Because Michael Jackson doesn't sing about his exploits. R. Kelly does.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to separate that because he sings sexual songs.
Yes.
So for me, I feel like we do pick and choose, and then when we finally find out, oh, this person's a piece of crap, we're all on board. Oh, we have to stop him. We have to do this. He's been doing this for years.
That's what annoyed me when people were freaking out about R. Kelly. I'm like, at what point in your life did you think this guy was a good guy to begin with?
Exactly.
Even if he was peeing on people that were of the proper age.
Yeah.
He was urinating on another human being.
Exactly.
Oh,
There's videotape of this.
Do you think cancel culture is making people more aware? Because I kind of do.
It's making people more aware, but we also have to understand when we do make people more aware, we subject ourselves to a lot of stuff that we were ignorant to, and so now we're going to be reacting to it. So, like for instance, there was a time when we didn't know anything that was going on in our public figures' lives. Our presidents, our mayors, our governors. We didn't know anything. We just knew what they told us until we started, and entertainers as well. We started getting TMZ. We started getting more of this stuff. People believing this stuff to be true. And now we're ready to react. Before, we didn't care. Think about it like this. Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, Aerosmith. There's been so many rockers that have been quote unquote pedophiles or done something with sexual abuse that we just brush under the rug. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't care at all. But now that we know this stuff, we're like, oh, we got to cancel this person. But we didn't cancel all the other people beforehand.
Do you think it's just a fad? Do you think that
I don't think it's a fad. I think it's us being aware of what's going on and us being more knowledgeable of what's going on and seeing stuff for face value.
Yes, I would agree with that. My only thing is I think it's currently a fad, and the fad ends as soon as we fuck up and we get when you wrongfully imprison someone. Not literally imprison,
right.
But this form of wrongful imprisonment.
Okay.
I think we saw a glimpse of that with Aziz Ansari.
Okay.
Where it was like, cancel him, and then some other people woke up and they were like, okay, the description it was a poorly worded blog.
Yeah.
And the description sounded like a bad date where there were some wrong messages, but nobody was really assaulted or violated. And Aziz, in my opinion, has come back with no problem. Because people were sort of backing off and like, okay, this just sounds like a bad date blown out of proportion.
But also the other problem to that is we don't know, and we don't go back to fact check.
We don't know what.
We don't know if people are accepting him now. Like, we just know that he came out with a new special. We don't know if people are actually saying
it got great reviews from men and women. I mean, as far as I know, he's not any more relevant or less relevant than he was before, in my opinion.
Right.
Master of None was his big thing, I think, after Parks and Rec. I haven't heard people talk about it because I guess there hasn't been a new season, but I don't think there was the backlash. I don't think he got the same backlash as Louis C.K. And he was doing, from what the description of the blog was, he was doing some weird shit too. So
yeah,
I do think that was a case where people were sort of like, they were aware of of what the potential situation actually was, and they were definitely not judging him as hard as Louis C.K. got it.
But I still think he's
people.
Gross.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
gross.
for him, that's going to be the hardest part. Like, people know what you do now.
Yeah, I still think you're gross. I mean, it's going to be a hard time for you to get a date.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't even think that's true. Do you write and produce your own stuff?
Not as much as I want to. I do have a lot of projects that I haven't finished and that I have on my computer that are super, 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 super dope. But what happens is I find out somebody else did the same idea, and I'm like, oh God. Or they're doing it and I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
That's happened with like 2 scripts that I wrote that ended up becoming like being done before I could finish it, and it's just like you get so mad because you spend so much time and then you just scrap it. So one of the projects I'm working on now, it's like MCU related, and I'm like terrified that this is gonna be like, I want to shoot it and post it somewhere before Disney Plus realizes it's probably a fun idea, because Disney's gonna own everything.
Disney's gonna own everything. Are you ready for that though? Are you ready for Disney to own everything or no?
No, they're too family friendly. That's my biggest concern. Like, they're gonna ruin Deadpool. The series I'm producing, I would love for them to be like, yeah, we're gonna put it on Disney Plus, but it will never be there because it's definitely gonna be, it's gonna have cursing.
I mean, they also own Hulu, which I think that's where everything's gonna go. I feel like the stuff that's more like adult content is gonna go on Hulu.
Yeah, but if it's MCU related, it probably should live with the rest of the.
Well, so
Disney
I mean,
Plus
it could not be MCU related.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Well, no, mine definitely. The first episode is, and then after that, it's a free for all. But
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting because I don't think I'd be as creative as I am without being able to play with toys when I was younger. But I can understand, like, not like people who just didn't play with toys. They just have these ideas that come to them, and I think all of mine was sparked from toys. Like, just being able to play with action figures and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's where most creativity comes from when you're playing. Like, I remember playing with my Ninja Turtles and, like, you know, having Splinter tell all the Ninja Turtles, hey, go down to the sewers and go fight
Shredder.
I wasn't gonna say Shredder. I was gonna say somebody. I was gonna say like a Roko Saki.
Gotcha.
Or Saki Ojimbo. Or somebody obscure.
You were gonna be very inside.
Yeah, I wanted
That's
to do
an
that.
inside character.
What was the Gator's name? I can't even think of the Gator's name, but I wanted to say his name. Can't remember. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember all those toys. I remember having the giant globe.
Yeah, the Technodrome.
Technodrome. Yeah, I remember having that.
That's how bad I am with this with Ninja Turtles. Like, yeah, the Technodrome. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I remember having that, and it was cool to have those big play sets, but at the same time, it was very much like...
It was a hassle.
Yeah.
It was so many little pieces.
And it was definitely heartbreaking when it got thrown out.
Oh my God. You know how much stuff my grandmother and my mother threw out? Like toys? I'm like, are you guys kidding me? These can be collector's items. I always would say that. I would say, as a kid, because I had a cousin that collected Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
He collected Star Wars and he collected the original Batman stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he would say, this is going to be a collector's item one day. So I was like, oh, I want to win and get $1 million. I want to collect toys. And everything I tried to collect, my mother and my grandmother would throw out.
Yeah, no, same thing here. I didn't have it any easier. That was not their. They didn't understand. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
They didn't understand.
My mother
the
still
value.
doesn't get it.
I
invited her.
Yeah, with the
invited her
Funko
to go,
Pops.
Yeah, she doesn't understand Funko Pops. Like, I invited her to go see Spider-Man yesterday.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, no. She hated Homecoming.
Oh, how do you hate Homecoming?
She hated Homecoming. Like, I was like, Ma, you want to come with? Nope.
Yeah, that's for me. My mom is starting to understand it because I tell her, like, hey, I just sold this Funko Pop that I paid $9 for $200, and she'll start to understand it then.
Right.
She'll be like, oh, you're onto something. Like I told her yesterday, I sold an old Lego set that I bought for $50. I sold it for like 180.
You gotta
something.
teach me how to do that stuff because
I mean, you just gotta know.
Stuff.
Like, if you bought the Friends set yesterday, those were going online for a lot of money.
Oh wow.
But it's really just knowing what people are gonna want and what's gonna be in demand. And the Funko Pops, they also, I think they have something that tells you when something's gonna be in limited supply, which also helps. But like, you go to Target, you get limited edition stuff. It's a process.
It sounds like it.
But it's worth it in the end because you end up making some decent money. But all right,
Hey, I got some legs on my torso.
there you go. You're getting there, man.
There we go. Have you watched the Toys That Made Us?
No, my friend produces it. Not my friend, my Facebook friend. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but he's a Facebook friend. He produces it.
Really good. I like it. I like it because you learn. Like I learn a whole bunch of stuff about toys and like why we play with toys and like what's the ideal. You know, like I want to know. Like I want to know why did they create Barbie? You know what I mean?
I mean, I could tell you why they created Barbie. That's not rocket science. All right. I'm missing a piece somewhere.
But understand, when Barbie came out, there weren't any toys for little girls besides
Probably yours.
besides baby dolls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think Barbie came out at the right time because it's sort of like Barbie grew with the teens the girls that were playing with those dolls.
Right.
All right, I see one Lego piece there. I'm gonna cut this now anyway. So what is next for Nigel? What do you have coming up on your agenda?
What's next for me? I'm doing something with the NFL.
Oh, nice. What are you doing? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, I can't really talk about it. I'm doing something with the NFL in November. I'm working on something with Mark Mendoza from Twisted Sister. We're working on a show together.
That's exciting.
Yeah, hopefully it works out. He has a lot of people into it. Like Dee Snider's gonna be like a walk-on guest on there, and
Cool, dude.
a lot of his rock and roll buddies. Besides that, yeah, I'm just hanging out, man. I'm having fun with these Legos.
Are you?
Yeah, kind of, sort
I
of.
feel like you're not. I feel like this is not a good time for you. I'm trying.
It's not a good time for you. Are you okay?
I'm trying to convert people, and it doesn't work. They get so annoyed about 5 minutes in.
No, I'm not annoyed. I'm just trying to figure out how this thing works.
We are done. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing.
All right.
I'm doing. I got some pieces together here. I think this is a foot. I'm almost positive it's a foot. But I don't know what the hell is going on.
you tried.
I definitely did.
You definitely tried. Are you on bag 2 or is this bag 1?
I took all the pieces out because I didn't know.
Oh, boy.
I didn't know. No, this is what happened. I left the bags in there, right? I left the bags in there because I was trying to not have a mess like this. What was happening was my pieces that I needed were in those damn bags. They were in the bags. I had to open up all the bags. I was like, I don't have this piece. Where is this piece? The piece was in there. I don't have this piece. Where is it? It was in there. Or it was on the floor. Who knows?
I think we're calling it a day, man.
All right, man.
We're calling it a day.
I tried.
No, I mean, you did try. I'll give you that. You
Yeah.
have his head right here. You're doing okay.
Yeah, that's his head, but I don't know where the back of his head is. I don't see that
You're
anywhere.
gonna find. I did this set already. You're gonna find out there's no back of his head.
Oh.
You have to create the back of his head.
Oh my God! How long did it take you?
It took like an hour. We've been
Jeez.
here for about 2.
See,
You tried.
I tried, man.
You tried. You can't be good at everything.
Yeah,
You got comedy. You got
yeah.
acting. Lego's not your thing. Lego's my thing.
It's not my thing.
Thank you to today's guest, Nigel Fullerton.
Hey,
Links down below. Follow him on Instagram. What's your
Sure.
Instagram?
at Nigel Fullerton _
There you go.
Say it ain't Sosis.
Say it ain't Sosis. Yeah, follow him below. Watch Roxanne. He's in that. And yeah, just thank you guys for watching. And
Hey,
that's it.
all
Guess we're
right.
going to call it a day.
Hey.